Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Gemini May 2024 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel St. James, clairvoyant. Well, this month we have a great deck to have a look at. It's the famous Thoth deck, which people have very often a lot of trouble reading. And some people are even frightened of it because of its developer, said developer being Aleister Crowley. Now, the real heroine of the story of this deck, though, is Lady Freda Harris. Now, she was married to a British politician. She met Crowley in about 1937, and it took her 5 years to develop the artwork of this stuff, apparently under the direction of Crowley himself, although I highly doubt the usefulness of his input, frankly. I think she was more influenced by an Austrian guy called Rudolf Steiner, who you probably heard of, and his views on spirituality and mysticism. In any event, she has produced a work which is magnificent. Now, I've done a lot of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for people over different parts of the world, over FaceTime and Skype over the last month, a number of Geminis as well. And if you might be interested in that, check out the description box at the end of the video. I've also now charged for those, but what I do for free is healing. And that's the other spiritual gift that I was given. And it's gladly and freely given to people all over the world if you contact me at the FaceTime and Skype without any obligation, and you won't be sold anything. You don't have to have a reading or anything. A lot of people have taken advantage of that and been very happy with the results. We, however, now are going to get your reading underway, so why don't you show me the magic? The Emperor, the Universe, the Wheel of Fortune, the Nine of Wands, that would be, and what is this? It is the Prince of Swords. Excellent. Well, why don't you come? This is our practice. Come, I'll bring the camera around so you and I can together have a good close look at the imagery on these paintings together while I revel in the artwork of the real genius behind this work, being the artist. And together we'll have a look at them while I do the reading for you. Now, I think I said that the real hero or the heroine of this particular deck is the artist, being Freda Harris, not Aleister Crowley, who didn't have. Now, so in honor of her, I've put out here some cards from a couple of decks I use sometimes for ladies, which deal with subject matter that is of interest to ladies, like handbags and shoes and things like that. But I want to look first at this. This is very interesting, tremendous month for you. Let's have a look here at. Now, these paintings is my interpretation, of course, and you are free to look at it however you might want to. This is styled the Universe. I call it the Great One of the Night Time. Now, this is speaking of completion, a cosmic union, a liberation from bondage, a burning off of karma. Number 21, look, it's the last card of the Major Arcana. It, if you like, closes the circle which began with the Fool. The great task has been brought to completion and returns to the innocence and the naivety of the Fool. The drop disappears into the ocean, and the ocean pours into the drop. This completion of things for you, at the same time, represents a new beginning, maybe on a higher level. You've reached a final goal. In spiritual terms, there has been a spiritual lesson learned. Now you see the world and yourself as it really is. And I'm taking that from this thing here, which could be the Eye of Horus in the Egyptian mythology, or may well even be that of the Eye of Lord Shiva in Vedic tradition. All your garments, clothing and masks, metaphorically, have become useless, because now you are becoming one with your original nature. Do you understand what I'm saying? You, like her, are whirling, caught up in the perpetual dancing motion of the universe, and the boundaries of your small I spiritually dissolve in orgasmic union with the universe. Now this naked woman dances the dance of freedom, and through the eye of Horus or Shiva, she has seen into the nature of limitations, and with this insight, which is, I think, represented by, this looks like a sickle, that she's carrying in her right hand, she cuts through the web of ensnarement, and even this gigantic snake or serpent of transformation has lost its function because the energy has been transformed and a new quality exists. The serpent, in a way, has outlived its usefulness. There's nothing less. It's nothing less than saying that there isn't anything left which its poisonous bite could destroy. And these representations of the signs for Scorpio, Taurus, what would that be? Leo and that's Taurus, is it? Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio. They are the all-pervading spirit which goes out throughout all directions in space and time. I think that what this is saying is that there is a project or something that you have been working on, and you'll find that your efforts are finally paying off. It's been something of a long, hard haul, I think, but you're almost there, or you have just crossed the line. And it is a reminder, though, for you to finish what you've started. I think you are now learning to take control of your own destiny, and you'll be using the power of your will to get results. In a sense, it is now possible for you to see things as they really are. The stage is set for a new beginning or for a favorable completion. I think that the events in your life now are in harmony with the universe. But ask yourself this: from what aspects of your life is it time to free yourself? Is there a journey or a project waiting for you to set it in motion? Trust your instincts and your perceptions, and make a list of all unfinished situations whose tying off will give you a sense of relief. Say this: I love to travel. I love to explore the unknown. I am excited about bringing ideas and creative projects into form. I deeply value making a contribution that makes people and things around me better, and I am one with the universe. Now, in relation to starting things off and setting about tasks that make things better for people around you and the environment, and also better for yourself, of course, this has obviously got something to say about that because it is sitting right underneath it. This is the Prince of Swords. And do you know what? I think that Aquarius and Capricorn are going to be important to you here. Now, looking at the painting, the prince wears tight green armor. He is a master of creative ideas, thinking and planning. But this, of course, can also represent a woman, incidentally, as these court cards do. They're interchangeable between the genders. But one of the things that you need to be able to think creatively is to have unrestricted freedom. Now, the creative thought process can't stand being limited in any way. And I think that this is why this prince is swinging his arm so far back to cut the connection with the figures pulling the wagon with full force. Now, I think that these figures are symbols of his confining ideas and feelings, or limiting relationships which might slow the chariot's progress. Now, the crystal is in the chariot, and it is shaped like a double pyramid. You'll make it out here. See, there's one pyramid, there's the other pyramid there. And I think what this is doing is it is showing perceptions, ideas becoming crystallized. So it's a good time to give shape and form to ideas. Sometimes problems appear like you just can't solve them because of old limiting belief systems and convictions. For example, I am weak and dependent, or if I assert myself, I will be punished, or I am basically clumsy. Now, if someone's walking around saying that basically they're clumsy and they've been told that since childhood, well, they're going to drag those beliefs. Oh, sorry about that. I just give myself concussion. Well, they're going to drag those beliefs with them into adulthood, won't they? Well, reality is just a little different, of course. We don't simply fall into situations accidentally, but we create them around ourselves based on our beliefs about reality. Now, if you have a person who is embarrassed about their clumsiness, and I'm just using that as an example, well, they're going to restrict their movements, afraid of being clumsy. So what ends up happening is that their movements really are clumsy. Now, whatever true natural grace that person may possess, well, it sadly remains undiscovered and undeveloped because at some time in the past, someone convinced them to see themselves as clumsy. Now, if you closely examine aspects of yourself which are unsatisfactory, you can see that each uncomfortable or unworkable situation is going to serve to show you your own misconceptions and mistaken attitudes. Now, once you have seen these for what they are, you can fix them up or just cut them free, bury them in the graveyard. Now, as a result of that cutting them free and burying them in the graveyard, I think that there's going to be a renaissance of you, a time of great intuition, creative thinking, cutting through all of entanglements and becoming free of limited ideas and models, and a clear perception here. There is, however, a lot of air. Princes are air, and in the swords it's air. There's a lot of air in this card. So you need to ensure that what you do is that in the creative process, you do make things tangible. You do permit them to come into reality. Because I think what this does is, and this could be you or could relate to someone that you know, who's actually someone who's actually very smart, loves thinking, questioning, arguing about things, good at creating ideas quickly, but someone who moves on without developing them. And actually, in a way, their mind can be draining to people who can't keep up with them. But you, however, will be independent. Maybe some people might find you difficult to know at this time. But this could also indicate a need to slow down and analyze thoughts to see if something practical can be gained from them. But it's saying also this, that you must free yourself from whatever limits your mind and spirit. Be sure that you express your ideas and plans in ways that other people will understand and accept their opinions humbly. Don't shoot the messenger either. It just might be that your thinking could well be way ahead of its time. But I can see that you will adjust to make your vision workable without sacrificing anything. But to get back to that example I used about the person and their physical movements, what beliefs, feelings, relationships, or programmed ideas do you allow to limit you? Say this to yourself. My creative possibilities have no limits, but they do need to be grounded. But you have great power and resources available to you at this time as well. Tremendous good luck and good fortune coming your way, and you're going to have an enormous desire to control maybe other people, or dominate them, or certainly dominate a situation, maybe even yourself. Let's look at this first, because this is a time when you will be happily drawing upon the hidden strengths that are within you. Now, this Nine of Wands is the Sun in Sagittarius. And there's a power here which you gain through unifying conscious and unconscious energies here. The number 9 has a symbol of... Oh, did I say Sun in Sagittarius? It's the Moon in Sagittarius. I meant to say. I was just looking at this bright thing, but there's a moon here. There is the Sun at the top, but there's also a moon, and there's a moon in the double 9 as well, in the number 9, mystically for me. So I think that this is referring also to the unconscious, and digging deep is what I see. Now the Moon is at the bottom of this card, and a driving force of this also is that of the Sun that's there. And what this means is that you will be very analytical and digging deep, relying on previous experience. The strong wand in the center actually connects the Sun and the Moon. And that, I think, says that there are hidden unconscious powers, being the Moon, that become visible through the radiant light of the conscious Sun. Now, these hidden powers are awakened, and I think that what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to apply them to a purpose. Now, recognizing these unused potentials in you sets free more energy which is experienced as maybe new or unusual. There's a strength here that grows from within, symbolized through the crescent moons on these arrows that are there in the background. And the force of this newfound strength banishes the darkness of ignorance. Now you see that when the unconscious becomes visible, you are faced with many things you have covered up in order to avoid looking at them. And this can produce fear of some sort, the fear of feeling painful wounds that you've covered up and hoped to forget. There may simply be a fear of your yet unproven strength, which reaches into all the areas of your life, reorganizing those areas. But this budding self-realization that is coming around for you isn't going to allow you to return to the situation that you had before. Your inner strength is going to grow to meet the size of the task at hand. And you will experience your energy as going far beyond the boundaries that you thought existed. This is a key experience, the beginning of a far-reaching inner and unfolding of your potential. You will discover new depths of strength and power that you never thought that you had. But you can be reassured that you have what it takes to get by. Even in times of difficulty and stress, inner strength is going to rise up and guide you towards your goals and to success. And in this process, you're going to learn more about yourself and your abilities. So I do think that you're going to be in the process of discovering your real strength. And trust your inner guide at this time. You may want to take part in other groups which help you do this, or you might be doing it by yourself. But are you a little bit afraid of your own strength? And in what areas of your life does this fear come up? Now, I would say that this is a time to pay attention to your dreams at this time. This energy here provides you with great endurance. And say this to yourself: I know more and more clearly who I am, and this recognition leads to the full development of my potential strength. Now, sitting above this is the first card that you drew. Hello, Emperor. Look at the colour on it. The colour of fire, the colour of Aries, the colour of Mars. I think you'll be primarily concerned with power and control over other people or yourself, and you're going to be a natural leader and organizer, and will be using your willpower and judgment to get you through life's experiences, as we discussed in this previous card that was here. I think status actually is going to be quite important to you, as is material security and stability. Now, the Emperor is portrayed here as a crowned man in a majestic gown. Now, the globe here with this Maltese cross represents the unification of wisdom and worldly mastery. Now is his throne, which glows with, as I say, the fiery colours of Mars and the Sun, which is exalted in Aries. It's sort of got these Himalayan rams sitting around, or maybe they're the part of the throne itself. His sceptre bears the symbol of power and adventurousness. Now, the qualities of true leadership include humility and submission, you understand, and a submission to the divine law, as well as also symbolizing great dynamism and power here with you. Now, a ruler who understands and considers the will of the whole, that is the people around them, that is a good ruler, because a ruler with these qualities is filled with a tremendous compassion which allows them to sacrifice things for the good of the whole. Now, the double eagles symbolized I think they symbolize the inner and outer changes brought about by the creative energy of the sun, and they also refer to the Emperor's creative energy. This is talking about the beginning of a new enterprise, a new phase in life, but we saw that with this as well, didn't we? Now, you might be extending the area of your realm, if you understand what I mean. Now, on the material plane, this could be a new beginning, a new project, changing career, work, travel, parenthood. And on the inner plane, new realizations may emerge. This is a really good time for a change or a new beginning for you, so trust your energy and move with it. What revitalization does your life need? Are there steps you would like to take yourself to make this happen? Examine yourself critically, especially in regard to people who are kind of up and down the totem pole, if you understand what I mean. But say this to yourself: I enjoy starting projects. I value and honor my leadership ability. I am a responsible person. I trust my power. I rule by serving, and I serve by ruling. And that takes us finally, I think, speaking of new beginnings, here's the central energy in your life at present, being this wheel of fortune, or what I would call the Lord of the forces of life. And this is, speaking of new beginnings for you, great degree of creativity as well, probably a big breakthrough actually, self-realization, some unexpected good fortune coming your way. There's a lot of luck around here. I think what this is saying here is that there is, in the midst of, I'm just looking at the painting, now in the midst of this energy that's swirling around there are lightning bolts coming up, and these lightning bolts turn the 10-spoked, for number 10 major arcana, this 10-spoked wheel of fortune. It's a symbol of wholeness in constant motion, yet unchanging in its completeness. Now, there are three figures that we can see here. There's a crocodile, an ape, and it looks like a sphinx. The sphinx unifies the four magic virtues: knowledge, will, daring, and silence. And wisdom arises through the unification of your animal instincts and your intuitive intellectual powers. Now, this sphinx has got a sword in its hand, you might notice, poking up there. I think that is saying that you'll have great ability to choose and to sort out what's going on. The ape here, I think, says that you're going to be very flexible. And the crocodile represents the god of creativity in the ancient Egyptian mythology. And it holds two tools in its hand. On the right is the Egyptian ankh, a symbol of life. Every creative act brings something to life. And on the other hand, the staff with the hook at the end is a symbol for the possibility you have to forge your own luck sometimes. You need to make luck happen. Because you understand that you can recognize and attract good opportunities at this time and make use of it. Now, the center of the wheel has in it the sun, the origin and unification, representing the whole, all creative energies. It's also a symbol of awareness, of realization, of enlightenment. In the sun is the absolute center of the hurricane, or the cyclone, or the typhoon, which, despite the constant movement at the edges, remains still and unchanged. This is your inner seed. This is you, the witness, who remains untouched by the ups and downs of duality, joy and sadness, hope and fear. Be ready to act on any unexpected opportunities now, because they're coming along. Change is about to happen. Now, you may need to alter your present course or change things around in order to set the stage for the right outcomes to come into your life. If no miracles are happening now, then something is definitely wrong. And this represents an unexpected change in your life, which is going to be good, but which may not necessarily seem that way at first, but it turns out to be. See, I think that you stand before the possibility of a great breakthrough. So use the moment. And are you really ready for the great fortune coming in your way? What's standing in the way? Say this to yourself: I am a prosperous individual. I am flexible in times of change. I enjoy manifesting internal abundance externally, and abundance which created me is what I am. I am now ready for the miracle in my life. What a great job you did. I think you'll agree with me that this deck, when looked at properly the way that we have just done now, has an enormous amount to offer, and the artwork is just genius and brilliant, and that accounts for why it has lasted as long as it has. Anyway, unless I see you privately for a clairvoyant reading or a healing, then I'll see you again next month. And until then, remember one thing, and it is this: that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.